Hey, you guys, welcome to Fillmonique's World. Now, this is part two, and we're gonna talk about boundaries. This is my favorite. I love talking about boundaries because, baby, I will put a boundary up in a minute. So, boundaries are so important, but I want to do something different today. I want to talk about nonverbal boundaries because I think people don't talk about nonverbal boundaries. They talk about boundaries where you're saying no. You might tell somebody, I don't like this, those type of, but I want to do this and then I'm going to flip it back over. So I'm going to tell you the type of nonverbal boundaries that you can use. And before I even go into that, I want to say why I'm talking about boundaries. Boundaries are important because of your mental health. It keeps you together. It also ensures it ensures yourself. It makes you feel confident. It makes you feel more of you. When you are people pleasing, you do not know yourself. When you are saying yes to everything, you saying no to most of the things that you need to do. So you have to know what to say yes on and what to say no on. And you're going to say, you want to get to a point where you're saying no more than yes. I'm just saying, and your yeses are going to be so intentional that you will know the yeses and your no's will be no question. So you want to get to that point. For me, it took me a very long time. I would say most of my 30s, I had to learn about the word no and then how to put up boundaries and why I need to put up boundaries. So this is what this episode is about, is basically coming from the part one was talking about no's, and then now we're going into boundaries because they go hand in hand. So I wanted to talk about nonverbal without speaking because a lot of people don't understand those. I don't feel like people talk about them. So body language, maintaining personal space by stepping back when someone gets too close. So that is basically you're cueing them like it's a boundary. Like, you need to get out of my space. You're uncomfortable. Crossing your arms. Not opening to a conversation or reacting at the moment. That is a boundary. A nonverbal boundary. Facial expression. Using facial expressions to show discomfort or intense. A frown or raise of eyebrow. You're showing that you're not happy with the situation. So facial expressions. Time management. Setting limits on your availability by not answering a phone call or a message immediately. This can signal that you are busy or not. It's not a time that you want to talk. You need time to talk. It's not your time, whatever. Reason, and I'm learning, and this is why I'm talking about this, because I'm actually am in a place in my life where I'm being more intentional with like time management, moving and grooving when I need to, not staying too long. That's a boundary, and these are boundaries with myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's important as well, putting a boundary up with yourself. Like me, I'm a type of person, I'm a people person. So if I see people and I haven't talked to them in a while, I want to talk sometimes. But sometimes it's not a time and a place. It's always a time and a place. So maybe a event or maybe a party or something like that where you could go sit down with that person and talk to them. And I'm learning that for myself. So time management is a good one. I just wanted to kind of add that on there. Nonverbal cues. Using gestures like shaking your head, no. Holding up your hand. It was a signal that you need a break or you're not with that urge or what have you. So that's a good one too, because I feel like it's all type of nonverbal, things that you can use towards other people. Okay, visual boundaries. Creating a personal barrier, such as closing your office door, using earphones in a public space to signal that you do not want to be disturbed. That is so important. And I am big on putting them earphones in my ear. Baby, I'll put one in my ear and act like I'm talking. I'll do it in a minute. But those type of things help. You know, sometimes I go, like not too long ago, I just went to Costco, put earphones in my ear. I don't want to talk to nobody. Every time I go to Costco, it seems like everybody I know, I wouldn't say I know somebody, but I did know somebody that day though. And I did take the earphones off. I didn't see them at first, and I kind of felt bad because I felt like I just kind of looked at them and walked off. But it seemed like people I don't know just ask me all these random questions. Can you get that up there? Can you do this? So I just put my earphones on so I could get in, get out. I knew it was one of those things where, well, we talk about time management. I needed to go. So it was an in and out. And Costco get on my nerves because it'd be too much going on. So that was my cue to say, hey, Monique, that was my boundary for myself to put the earphones in and just walk out. But yeah, it was an in and out for me. Social media settings, adjusting privacy settings on social media to limit what you can see on posts or contact you. Setting boundaries without directly communication. And when I say this is so important, like I literally, like for IG, because that's the one I use the most, set my algorithm. I literally will mute somebody in a minute. I don't care how long I've been doing them. Because certain stuff I don't want to see. I don't want to see nobody fighting. I don't want to see somebody arguing or bullying somebody. These are things that I don't want in my world, because when you see things or you around things, you become things. So I just don't allow it. So that's a really good one. I really never tripped off of that as being a boundary. So I wanted to share that one. Tone and value. Your tone of voice and value can set boundaries. Speaking in a tone, but firm tone, can let that person know that you're serious without needing to say no. It works. It works. And I like that one. I do like that one. And I think that I really wanted to talk about these things because I knew that I set those type of boundaries because I did study some of them. Some of them I didn't know there was boundaries, but I think a lot of other people don't know. So I wanted to share these so you know, and you know what type of boundaries you could share. I mean, you can use. Mindfulness practice. Engage in self-care activities like meditation or yoga, which can signal to others that you are you're in your well-being and personal boundaries. So I agree on that. I was just telling my producer, if we talk about him, Cam, I was just telling him about how I want to take a hiatus. I want to, and it's not towards business wise, because that's life. That's what I do. But it's also my growth, and it's something I love dearly. So I have to keep that there. But when it comes to personal, I want to kind of shut that part of me out so I can get to the oneness of myself and being able to meditate, being able to get to know myself on a different level with fitness and different things like that. But that's going to protect me so I can be bigger and better. So that's why I'm doing that. And then physical reminders, using reminders that sticky notes and signals in your environment to help you maintain your boundaries mentally, such as a note that can encourage you to take breaks. That is a cool one. I love that one. And I will say it's a lot of boundaries that you can use with yourself. And then this was the last one, avoidance. Personal, remove yourself from situations or things. So if you take something that you don't want to be in that space, so like your purse. So this is a good example. So if you put your purse in a room or you put something somewhere else that you don't want somebody to touch, that is a boundary. That is a boundary, so don't ever feel bad about it. Put your purse in another room when it's people in your home. You don't want nobody to touch your purse. I don't like people going in my purse. I think it's just a thing because when I was growing up, my mom used to be like, "Don't touch my purse," and I agree. I feel like it's such a personal thing that a person carries, and I feel like purses really is energy. This is just my personal opinion. So people touching it and going in it, you don't know what people are slipping your purse. Don't touch my purse. So that's a boundary. Putting your purse up somewhere so people won't touch it. But anything you move, you avoidance, anything you are avoiding a situation, a confrontation, anything that is a boundary, and they don't have to understand it. And this is why I'm speaking on it, so then you will be able to understand it. And I hope this somebody can learn from this, because some things I didn't know either, but I had to put myself in that world of healing, in that world to learning all these words and take terminology to be able to understand and do the right thing. But yeah, so to finish this one, it says, physical, remove yourself from situations that make you feel uncomfortable, such as leaving a gathering when you feel pressured. So that's just, I'm one of them people, I'll leave an event quick. If I feel uncomfortable, I'm not too long ago, I was at an event and something was about to happen and I felt it, I left. I said bye to 2 people and I got on. I'm not about to explain why I'm leaving, and you ain't got to tell me no more. I'm out. And it was a lot that happened after. So for me, I'm just learning that understand yourself, and this is why boundaries and no's are so important, because you will get to know yourself so well where you will understand I need to leave. And that's what this is about. And I love the nonverbal ones, because I use them all the time, but some of these I didn't know. So you will eventually start understanding I'm putting up boundaries out, and you're going to start feeling good about yourself putting those boundaries up. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. So I go back a little bit. Okay, so this is a good example of putting a good boundary up. So say you're at a gym, and your trainer or someone is like touching you and you don't like the touch. You put up a boundary and let them know, look, I don't like you touching me. Can you show me? And then I can try to mimic you with the exercise or the movement or what have you. That is a good boundary to put up, because you feel it. Because some people will allow a trainer to touch them because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do. Trainers don't have to touch you. They're supposed to also ask to touch you too. So that's a thing. But anybody just touching you, period. If you don't talk to somebody and you might not have beef with them, but you in a place where you don't want to hug them, you don't have to hug them. And you let them know, I'm saying hi to you, but I don't want to hug. I don't feel that with our relationship. And I'm a very strong believer. I don't hug everybody. If I don't fool with you like that, I will not hug you. And if I stop hugging you, beware. And sometimes you don't get to hugging when you start talking or something like that. That's different. But I'm saying, like, literally, if I see you all the time and I won't hug you no more, I probably don't fool with you like that. I'm just keeping it cute. I'm just saying, I'm putting one up on myself. So I'm just saying. But you just protecting your energy. And so boundaries are necessary for personal, emotional, physical, and digital. So and now nonverbal. We can add that on there because I just read a whole thing of nonverbal boundaries. So you can add that on to that as well. What does having a boundary mean to you? You got to ask yourself these things. But are there areas in your life where your boundaries are not respected? You need to ask those questions. And as I'm saying these things, write these down. This is a very interactive episode where you can write things down and you can ask yourself questions. And this is what I do. This is what I start doing when I start healing. I wrote things down to heal, to ask myself things, to answer questions for myself, and really getting to know myself, what I like, what I don't like. And this is very important to do it for boundaries. Okay, so this is a good one. Do you often put others before your needs? Ask yourself that. How do you feel when you prioritize their needs before yours? Ask yourself that. How do you feel when you prioritize their feelings before your needs? Or their feelings before your needs? And I was just saying that on episode 1, how you can say yes to so many different people, but it's going to say no to the things you need to do. So you need to keep that always in mind when you saying no or yes. Okay, if I say yes to this, what do I have to do for that time where it's going to say no to what I have to do? That's the things you need to ask yourself. Once I start asking myself that, I start saying no like crazy. And I wanted to share a story, but I just don't want to put nobody on blast. I'm one of these people, these people that I just don't want to put nobody on blast. But I really wanted to talk about me and my mom relationship when she was sick with cancer. And I touch on it was a lot of where I had to understand that my no was so important in that situation because I was neglecting myself where I was going to not be here no more. And it hurt. Oh, it was so hard to say no to her because she was so sick, but I was so drained and I didn't have energy to give as much as I can give. And I was giving all different ways. And so I had to understand what was my yeses that I had to say yes on. And then I had to add up all those no's because the no's kept me going to be able to say yes. So I wanted to say that. I didn't want to go deep into that story because that's a very touchy situation. But it needed to be said because I wanted to kind of shine that light. Hopefully somebody that has been a caregiver can kind of understand that. But you have to take care of yourself. You cannot take care of a person that's sick if you're not okay. And it's stressful. Like I will say, I was so drained where I wasn't sleeping because I was so scared she wasn't gonna wake up. It was times where I was checking on her every 2 minutes because she was so sick from her chemo and she was throwing up. And I was drained. And I swear, when I say I was so happy that I never fell asleep driving because I was so tired. I remember sleeping on a wall. Like literally, like sleeping on. I was so tired every break. Come on, you can't do nothing when you're tired. You can't do nothing when you're tired and you're unnecessarily hungry. Like, are you hungry where it's not an unnecessary hungry, but it's like a hungry where you need the fuel? Can't do anything. You can't function. You're not a functioning human. So I would say understand your yeses and why you're saying your yeses. So you won't say no to your purpose, your why, your dreams, understand that because it's so important. And this is why I'm here talking about this because I want people to live their best lives because it's important. And I will say that I'm in a happy place because I've learned my yeses from my no's and I say no more than yes. Please believe that. I want you to ask this question to yourself. What do I share online that I'm comfortable with? Because this is a digital boundary. Do you share stuff that you don't want to? So I remember I was talking to one of my mentors, and I am big on not posting certain stuff. I don't like posting bad pictures of my friends. If my friend face is weird, I will not post that. And this is just a boundary that I have with myself because I feel like it's self-respect to a friend. Those type of things, and this is just my personal opinion, grows insecurities with people when you post a bad picture of them. It also tells them that you don't see them. So for me, I don't do that, and I will respect somebody. I need somebody to respect me, and I do that to me. Period. I don't care who you is. Don't post no bad picture, or at least ask if you feel like the picture good. But I might not feel like that, Or my double chin is double chinning. I might not want to post the double chin picture, So I do that because for me, it's a sign of respect. Also, I'm in fashion. I also like how Stuntman O2 said in one of my episodes, how he clearly said, like, you taught me how my appearance is supposed to be. And that's so important. I really believe that. So I would say picture posting is a boundary. It's a boundary that I have for myself. but it should be a boundary for other people too. Now, everybody don't believe that, but I just think that it's wrong. So I was talking to my mentor and at the time, and he was telling me to post, but post entertaining stuff. But it seemed to me that it was like, I don't know. To me, I don't like stuff that look. It just take away from my brand. My brand is about fitness, mental health, all these things. So if it's like the tea type of post, I would say it like that. That's a good way of saying it. Like tea, like you getting that tea, or I'm about to post something where you about to get that information, and then I swap it or something. To me, it's like gossiping. And it's not that, it's like a fake, but that's something I don't want to put on my page. So I said, no, I don't like those type of posts. That's not for me. Or a post, it's like a lot of posts that I don't like that I'm not into, so I won't post it on my page. That is a boundary. That's your digital boundary for something you believe in. So that was a good example. I just wanted to say that. Do you feel pressure with responding to messages immediately? That's a boundary. Like if you think about it, you sit down and think about it, you don't have to message. I will say this, that if you are in business, it is good to respond because it shows good work ethic when you respond to people right away. And I would say maybe to artists, it maybe be a little bend on it. But when people hit me up, I don't respond to them all the time right away. But I make sure that I respond. And if I don't want to do something, I say no. That's it. I try to respond as much as I can. Now, I will say this. If somebody is pressuring me, I will give you a silent response and I will ghost you. And I'm just saying. Because sometimes is communication is a amazing thing, but sometimes it is a thing where you can be very forceful and keep going and going and going, and it's not good because that's you're overstepping somebody's boundary. If somebody didn't text you back, why are you texting them again 2-3 days in a row? So I'm one of them people. That's my boundary. I stop talking to you, and that's just what it is. So that's like digital, something I do with digital. But if I didn't work with them, I wouldn't do that. If I worked with them before and we worked, that's different. But if I have never worked with you, I will do that usually to that person. So I'm gonna say this and then I'll wrap it up. So start small and be clear about your limits. Practice saying no when necessary. And then I want you to ask these questions to yourself. What is one boundary I want to set this week? How can I communicate boundaries to others? So I'm going to finish it with this. I will really work on tone. Taking a breather, like before you speak, before you're, think about what you're going to say before you set that boundary. And if you need time because maybe you got irritated or upset at somebody, take that time and then revisit it. But always make sure you revisit because you don't want to leave people on a cliffhanger. It's not cool. It's not fair. We're adults. We have to have those uncomfortable conversations. I think a lot of times people don't want to set boundaries. It's uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable is how you grow. When you are uncomfortable in life, and most of the time, you are going to grow. You're going to figure out solutions, and you're going to prosper. And you want to fail forward as much as you can in life because when you're failing, you're learning. And as you're failing, you're going to figure it out. You become resilient. You become proud of yourself. You are confident because you're doing it with no fear. So I would say make sure that you are communicating in a way with your boundaries, confident, bold, strong. Think about what you're going to say. Take a powerful pause. It's always good to pause. I pause a lot of times. I paused a couple times on this episode. But when you pause and you're thinking what you're going to say and those words come out more powerful than when you just blur it out. Sometimes it's good to take a good long pause. There's nothing wrong with that. Take a long pause if you have to. But I want you to make sure that you understand It's for your self-care, and it's to make you have healthy boundaries. It's to build healthy relationships. Um, it's also encourage listeners. People can listen to you, see you more, because you're not gonna take that crap. Because when you are a pushover, people gonna push over you. But when you are saying who you are, people move differently with you, and that's what you want. Um, and yeah, I just want you to think about these different things that I was talking about. I hope you write these things down. Some of the questions I said, please get a pen, watch the episode over, and write these things down. And this one is boundaries. So I want you to do 10 boundaries this week. So next Monday through Friday, do 10 boundaries. It could be 5 could be with yourself and 5 could be with other people. You can do boundaries to yourself. It builds habits. Thank you for watching this episode, Fillmonique's World. Boundaries, setting boundaries, talking about boundaries. This episode is so meaningful for the world to hear. I need you guys to subscribe below, like, share, comment. Even comment some of the boundaries that you set this week, if you can think of some, if this is something that you're familiar with. But I want you guys to really pull out those pens and papers and write how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and what you're thinking. Ask yourself questions. When you talk, self-talk is the best talk, because you're asking yourself the right things. Okay? So thank you. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. And we out.